Yo, anyone out there and alive? No, it's pretty much for the most part a sudden live stream, but hey, it's Friday night, and probably not taking this live stream into consideration. Probably start doing like one stream per month until further notice. Yeah, probably like every end of the month basically. So yeah, well, everyone. I mean, all two persons. No camera or lights. It's way too hot for all of that right now. Honestly, can't bother. Ah boy, Jenna. I guess I could still wait for more persons to drop in if they will. Alright, Tivin the boy. Alright, so the whole agenda for the night is as per usual, nothing too professional, just casual and just chill and talk. Tower of God, Boruto, Dragon Ball Super. A lot of things happened in the last week and a half, give or take. Wild stuff. Like crazy, like I mean, from a clone of Jiraiya to Vegeta getting the win taken from him again, quote unquote, and Tower of God's pretty decent ending, if I'm being honest. Alright, viewer number 3. All gone. Let's see here. Studio mode. Let's see. Stream health looking good. No problems here. Yeah, I figure more honest, Steven. Like, mainly would be Tower God, but like for like the Super and Boruto stuff, it'll be like we get your like your opinion on it. But just probably just tell her X and Y. You never really know the in-depth details. Let's scroll through YouTube. Oh, yo, let me totally forget. But Tevin, you used to watch Shaman King back in the day, brother. You're supposed to hear about the new Shaman King anime will come out next year and so. do, do. Yeah, brother, like Shaman King next year. I never really got into the manga. I hope to before the anime drops. But yeah, cause I was like saying that yo, something never really sat well with me with the ending, brother. It just never make any sense. And when they look into it like years and years ago, yeah, my fans say yeah, the manga it diverged from the manga and thing. So man, I say yo, Jano. I don't think I ever like played. Well, did I play any of the Shaman King games? I might have played one. Might. Well, those are like the days when I mean, like mainly just to play games from the VBA. But hopefully with the new anime, hopefully them can push out some games. It and Bleach as well. But it crazy. It's like 2021 is being set up for a very to be a very interesting year already. For that you have Bleach coming back, Shaman King coming back. And now like those two things already is like yo, that's just wild already. And honestly, at the rate that Boruto is going, um 2021 might be like a very manga heavy adaptation year for the Boruto anime. So probably Boruto is going to get a boost in popularity here in the West more than likely. Yeah, brother. It's like 2021 is like the reward for surviving 2020. Yo, yo. It's serious, trust me. Serious. But like Bleach wise, trust me, like I don't I know so like you I think you came on enough with other versions of them and I think when I read the final arc in the manga, but that trust me, some wild stuff. Some wild stuff to be expected for the Bleach anime. But well that sounds like a plan still. You just skip out the fillers then or what? But you know, like crazy enough, like I've always said, like during the time when I watch, you know, like Shippuden and Bleach weekly, um, like me did enjoy the always enjoy the Bleach fillers them more than the Naruto fillers them still. Yeah, that makes sense. I have to commit more time by your by your hands. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Why still? Me interested to see how them gonna handle the Bleach anime final arc still, cause Like to this day, I feel like Bleach really missed a lot of opportunities with its lore and everything. There are a lot of things I feel like were they never get the focus that them need to, is me. There's certain backstories regarding the lore which yeah. So I'm interested to see if it's going to be like a one-to-one for the remaining manga chapters, or if they're gonna like adapt some of the novels them that have been coming out for Bleach in recent years. But just have a wait to answer still. Can not more than that. Ah boy. Bleach. Well, brother. But I really look for more so towards for the Shaman King, dog, honestly, cause I went since week or last week. I must see the article on anime news circuit. I say Shaman King they hit new anime. I say yo. As in, yeah, that would be a good idea for the novels and for Bleach. It was basically the same thing I was saying for a lot of the Naruto novels that were coming out when Naruto had just done is I mean because at least if they did focus on them they upon like say probably like two OVAs a year for like, the novels because like since 2014 when Naruto done brother like there have been like a million and one novels. So I if it was up to me like two OVAs a year, probably like each of them like an hour, and with just something there, or even we adapt one novel into like multiple parts, and then kind of give the Boruto anime some time before it starts. Because again, if it did up to me, the Boruto anime would have started like last year, the earliest, honestly. Oh well. But just say it go. Hopefully Boruto get that popularity like I'm predict for next year. So just wait and see. But until then, yeah, bro. Like far too early. Like I think I've literally done like three videos talking about Boruto being too early. Back when the anime, when it was like, the anime they just reached like in the 40s. I do remember doing one recently, like last month, and what else again? There was one video in the middle of that talk about the issue again because the manga started for Boruto in 2016. The first 10 chapters were like recapping the Boruto movie, which yeah, but which bad and not so bad. But the fact that the anime started the following year, 2017, was like, the worst move because especially since the manga is monthly, isn't it? So if you do the months, you're getting less pages than if the Boruto manga was weekly. And if you look at a lot of other big series, whether they're weekly or seasonal, they wait a few years before them start because at least two. Because like in the big threes case, like One Piece, the anime started like 2 years after. It's the same thing with Naruto, I believe, 2 years after, if not three. And Bleach was I think two or not if not 3 years after as well. And it's obvious with the Boruto anime because they started the manga with the Boruto movie, and the anime wise them start with something them start like when Boruto is still like he when him just joined the academy, they kind of build up to the movie events them. But even with all of that padding, it still honestly wasn't enough time for the manga to build up. So yeah. And then even with the content that them come with in that anime, it has its gold moments here and there, but overall, uh, it isn't really. Yeah. Yeah, them feel like you're very slow, bro. Like it's like as me I tell somebody else is that yo, if it wasn't for the manga and y'all watch the Boruto anime alone, you'd have feel like, and if it wasn't for the flash forward for Boruto as well in the first episode, you'd kind of feel like the anime now go nowhere because dog, we're literally 150 odd episodes in, and nothing something at them 150 episodes there, but at the same time, I feel like not a lot's happened. You see me? Compared to like Naruto, like 150 episodes into Naruto, we literally basically are at the end of the part one. We finished the Naruto and Sasuke fight, and we're ready for going to the time skip. You see me? So, but apparently I hear it's doing well in Japan, so I guess that's all that matters. But trust me, I feel like real and truly once the anime gets more into the manga content, trust me, bro. Like, I feel like some of the they gonna really start trend. Yeah, trust me, bro. It's very undercooked, and it's not that it doesn't have some decent writing here and there, but like I'm a little bit about other series, bro, where 3 episodes in, 5 episodes in, I can feel much more invested compared to Boruto. That's just something to me. Or even if I go the long road and compare it to One Piece, which it really isn't any comparison, really. But because in the early episodes, One Piece has its charm and you can get really invested early on. But me usually tell persons is that it's usually when you reach about episode 40 or 41 where if you reach that far and still not feel invested, just drop it. But it's usually at the end of Nami's arc, in the early part, where think I was completely sold. And if we compare to Boruto, 39 episodes in, there's still no comparison between One Piece and Boruto, isn't it? Even if you want to make the excuse for the source to say, oh, give Boruto time, like Moda said, give One Piece time, it's still no comparison. Boruto is still undercooked. Very undercooked. But I just you have a lot of stakeholders in the mix, so even if one man over there in Japan wants to say, yo, maybe just hold off on the anime. Everybody say, yo, Naruto's making money. We just pump out some well fast. But just say go. And the grand scheme of things, well, probably still had a better start than Dragon Ball Super still, but Dragon Ball Super is another kettle of fish. But Super has come a long way, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the anime coming out for Dragon Ball. But oh well, yeah. Trust me, I understand. Me tell you, me tell you, I understand with the way I say. After 2 3 weeks, me remember me I do reviews for Boruto, brother, and at some point, like me did have to just stop review the anime. That's how me know say yo something wrong, because yeah, me know so like these days before like the whole break cause of the pandemic, me basically start review Boruto on a consistent basis again, the anime at least. But one point, brother, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Yeah, like you see with Super now, Super had like a different problem, brother. Like, like, Jano. Super had like a horrible like production run. Like they really jumped into the series without proper planning, and you could see it in the animation. And I mean, redoing like this whole trend of redoing the movies, and there are a bunch of other problems, dog. So, I not even know what is a worse, so it's a Super or Boruto or Boruto. But I don't know. Like I've been considering like doing a video speaking about like when like series become too corporate, because a lot of the series that we talk about and review on the channel, obviously they're in this whole space of new generation material, and more often than not the new generation material are writing not really as good as the previous material is. I mean, so I was thinking of doing like a video like just discussing, probably invite one or two persons to talk about it. It's like when anime become too corporate, because yeah, the series I make a lot of money, but like when you go beyond the surface level, it feel like it's becoming more quantity than quality, is I mean just milking it. No, all right. Tell him. Like I think I was one of the persons in like in a full group, bro, that didn't really have a problem with them redoing the movies. Is I mean, but I was more of the advocate of, if you're redoing the movies, at least capitalize on the extra time that you have when you compare to the limited runtime you have with a movie, to really expand on the lore, correct any mishaps in writing and thing. But that wasn't the case, is I mean, so it kind of just ended up being a waste of time for me. Yeah, there's that angle as well for persons who never see it still. But boy, like, it's a limited view from my part, but honestly, it's hard to say who will never see it, because Battle of Gods was 2013, fine. 2015 no, literally had Resurrection F in what? February, March 2015. And then remember when in the common era, brother, I scroll through and I see this article say, oh, new Dragon Ball series announced. So like in retrospect, looking back at it, it kind of felt like when I'm saying, alright, Battle of Gods, Resurrection F still good. Yo, just announce a new series. But me tell you, bro, me tell you, me know. Like the first few episodes are super. Like they were uh, but it's when I mean never forget this. It's when episode 5 came up. I mean, also everybody makes fun of episode 5 for super, but and I'm no animation expert, obviously, but remember the Sunday man watch it. I mean, it's alright. Goku versus Beerus on Kinkai Planet. Then probably gonna expand it. Man, I look forward to see, the extra fight scenes. And may I eat dinner, may I watch it. And may I say something wrong. So there's something wrong here. This no good. This isn't good. Yeah. Exactly, brother. And it's like it's not like them can't do well though, because like if you even compare like the early days of Super with the Brawly movie, like it's obvious, yeah, it's like almost night and day in terms of quality. All right, Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, welcome. In terms of favorite Naruto character, I don't think I have a favorite at the moment. Funny enough, I remember when I was in like high school, like seventh grade, like my favorite was I mean it's obvious my favorite was Naruto, and then I did have a bridging one the kind of alright, this kind of cringy, but they have a bridging one where like always compare with like to Sasuke, so Naruto was my favorite, and then I started Sasuke more, and then no, I'm kind of rate them equally. So overall, I mean, I don't have a favorite anymore. So that's basically my complicated story there on favorite character. In terms of favorite anime character, that's a whoa, it's a broad one. I I wouldn't say favorite, but I'll give you like probably a one and two that I really rate. Like Yusuke Urameshi, bro. Like Yusuke has got to be like one of my all-time favorite anime characters. Like there's just, especially like if we're talking about like the Funimation dub version of Yusuke, like, mm, trust me, it just that version of character just has charm. Trust me, and really rate him, respect him. Isn't it? It's always fun seeing him on screen. Um, it didn't really feel like the typical shonen protagonist, I would say. Uh, let's see. The Karma Seal will be compared to Super Saiyan. Wow. Um, what can I say? I mean, really, actually, there's still no comparison right now in terms of like raw power. I mean, yeah, the Naruto cast they are starting to really and truly scaling up to that Z era of um of characters, but like Karma by itself, yeah. But if you were to ask me like specific characters or how strong you, I think like characters like the top tier of the Bortoverse will be at the end of the series. Yeah, that's a different story. I mean, look at it like this. I mean, Naruto in universe about what 15 years ago could he could stop an attack that could split the moon in half without using anywhere near his full power. So, like for the most part, the top tiers of the verse right now are more or less planet level, planetary. I know there are some persons, there are some novels that take things much further, like in terms of how they describe some of the Otsutsuki, like Momoshiki. But I mean, based on what I've seen, I mean, Ishiki Otsutsuki himself, based on scaling, I could say would be like probably like multi-planet. Um, so I mean, the potential of the scaling, the power scale at the end of the series, it could become really wild. Um, I can't really say about Teen Boruto right now. I mean, there's hardly anything I know. I know I've done some power skills on Boruto. In terms of how powerful it might be. I mean, in the future, but but Boruto crushing Super Saiyan Goten, Teen Boruto at least. Probably not in raw strength, but considering it's like you have to look at it on two different perspectives. Because in the Naruto verse, you don't necessarily have to be stronger than somebody to actually beat them. Like you can have hacks and everything. But from the Dragon Ball's perspective, you could still it's more it's more of a linear kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm more powerful than you, then I can do this. Like for example, there are some hacks things in Dragon Ball. There are a lot of hacks things, but for the most part, it always kind of comes back down to like who has the bigger power level. So like for example, like Gotenks like screaming and breaking through dimensions. So like you can imagine, you know, like a Boruto versus or like a Naruto versus Dragon Ball verse, and somebody like Obito traps a Dragon Ball character in the next dimension. In Dragon Ball logic, you could probably just break through the dimension. So if you get what I mean. So there's that, but I strayed a bit there. But like, I mean, Teen Boruto, I mean, it's possible, but I kind of see more so along the lines of Boruto beating a Goten with through hacks and not like raw power, speed, or anything. But let me see here. Um, I don't think it's alright. Honestly, I don't think it is like I don't think it's as black and white as saying like the karma seal is planetary, because there are a lot of different factors I believe goes into it. So for example, um, because it would obviously depend on the Otsutsuki it's based on, I'd imagine. So I right now I would imagine that um a karma seal level 2 for a Ishiki Otsutsuki would grant the person a bigger boost than a level 2 karma seal from a Momoshiki Otsutsuki. You get what I mean? So it depends. And I mean, for the most part, those characters aren't planetary once they hit the level 2. When they hit the level 2 state with the, like, you know, the horns and the same state that Ishiki used through Via Jigen's body to beat Naruto and Sasuke. But yeah, but like level 1 karma, nah, I wouldn't say planetary. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's as black and white as that, really and truly. And then again, it depends on the state of the person at the time who's who has the karma seal. Because for example, during the fight with Boro, Momoshiki was basically, well, it was only like a physical threat. I don't think he could like literally like just punch the planet in the state he was in, since Boruto was kind of low on chakra. Honestly, no, I don't see Naruto beating Jigen. Sorry, not Jigen. Ishiki in their next fight. It's just not. It's not like Naruto's made any drastic improvements, and right now the previous I still expect Ishiki to have some limitations since Jigen isn't the ideal vessel, but for the most part, Ishiki is much more powerful than how he was in the fight with Naruto and Sasuke. And Naruto and Sasuke right now, from a power standpoint, haven't really made any real progression since that fight, which wasn't long ago either way. I mean, they could probably incorporate some scientific ninja weapons to come up with some tactics to go around, but I don't see anyone beating Ishiki right now. Mhm. God, it's hot. Yo, Naruto Uzumaki, like how are things where you are in terms of like the whole pandemic situation though? Do 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 do. Mm, yes, yes, yes. I guess he got cut out. God, it's hot. Ah, yes. And then Jiraiya fans out there that have actually been keeping up with the Boruto manga. Anyway, Boruto manga wise, I'll spoil it, Evan, but yeah, clone of Jiraiya. Mm, like, I mean, without getting into too much details, but I wanted to talk about the whole idea of Jiraiya coming back via cloning, and I don't know, like even for like you guys that may not like read Boruto, but what do you think about the idea of that? Well, I think the idea is a fact right now, but Big. But I mean, it's kind of wild. For me personally, I'm kind of just looking forward to seeing Naruto's reaction to, and hopefully he gets to interact with um hopefully he gets to interact with his clone of Jiraiya, because honestly, the Boruto manga, as good as it is to me in comparison with the anime, at least still has its problems, and um I'm still heavily invested more so in Naruto Uzumaki than Boruto Uzumaki. So having this emotional conflict that's going to be coming up with the fact that Jiraiya has been revived, I'm really interested in seeing how that plot thread actually plays out, because yo, man, like there's only so many ways I can imagine Naruto reacting to this. Alright guys, so I'm gonna be having Tevin here in the chat join me for some Tower of God discussion. Hold on there, boy. Alright, yeah, hear me, Tevin? Yeah. Wish I had more people here to, you know, say if, you know, they might hear you good through the stream. No pressure still. Well, at least based through OBS, I'm picking you up loud and clear still, so it should be fine. So yeah, bro. I mean, not the 1,000,001 persons in terms of in terms of audience, but it is what it is. You don't think so? No? Oh, wow. Picking you up through talk again then. I'll pick you up through something that through OBS. Let's say something there. Go on again. Yeah, man, I think I'll come through on the stream for real. Well, on there. Live shot. Sorry about the technical difficulty, folks. Add audio. Go on again, Tevin.
Testing 1 2.
Go on again, Tevin. Go on again, Tevin.
Testing 1 2.
Seems like it's working now.
Yeah. Go on again, Tevin. Alright, so good vibes. Alright, bro. So yeah, welcome to the Uchiha clan.
Thanks for having me. But
so yeah, bro.
There may be a delay in the stream.
Yeah, man, not good. I mean, then when you hear it, that's the norm, really, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I mean, yeah, I mean Naruto, Boruto, Super, Tower of God, but I mean, we've talked about most of those for quite a while now. So Tower of God, bro, like,
Wait. Before we jump onto Tower of God,
yeah.
I want to. Uh, I not all that familiar with this going on in Boruto.
All right, fair enough. At least let me hear you. What do you think? I mean, you're not familiar, but Jiraiya is such a Jiraiya is a good
Hmm.
dog. I mean, fan favorite. So the
Exactly.
idea of him coming back, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you you might need to give me some context as to the happenings in the manga, but I saw just a few like thumbnails, headlines, and accidentally click on a video once on YouTube and decided I'm going to watch it through. But it like thumbnails, headlines, and Boruto in the anime at least ended up going back in time. I don't know if it's canon off, thumbnails, headlines, and Boruto in the anime.
Well, the thing is, Kodachi, which is the guy that's writing the manga, no. He supervises the anime as well. Based on interviews and all of that, we I'm led to believe, based on what he's saying, that we should take everything in the anime as the definitive version of the story. So technically there isn't any filler, technically, but technicalities. But right now
Okay.
I can't say if the time travel arc is canon yet. It really and truly depends on the next few chapters of Boruto, where I would imagine we'll learn. They'll probably make a reference to it. Because, for example, there was the the third major arc in the anime. It was actually referenced in the manga at one point. So, given that situation, I know that that arc in the anime is canon. But I can't talk for the time travel arc just yet. Situation. I know that that arc in the anime is
Okay.
canon, but I can't
Well,
talk for the time travel arc
I
just
mean,
yet.
saying that a
Situation. I know that that arc
part
in
in
the
the
anime is
anime is
canon,
canon just
but I
because,
can't talk for
well,
the
saying that the
time
anime
travel
is
arc
canon.
just yet. Yeah, I mean it works, as I said. I mean, for the most part, those guys over in Japan, they're it's apparently doing well. So hold on.
Double check on your phone, see, make sure the stream coming through all right. There isn't any
Yeah, that most
echoing.
of that though.
Double check on your phone, see, make sure the stream coming through all right. There isn't any
Yeah, that most of
echoing.
that though.
Double check on your phone.
Alright, so that should be good now. I'm just doing the one more check to make sure so the audio come through for you. So just one thing there, bro.
Just tell me what you need.
The audio come through for you. So just one thing there, bro.
Just tell me what you need.
Alright, cool. Alright, so we're good. We live to go. Wait, hold on. Yannick. All going, bro? There, bro, just having a casual stream, nothing too crazy. Not the 1,000,001 audience that I'd like. But yeah, I think this is my third stream, bro. You know what I mean? So, it's that Friday night, I'm just saying, I'm gonna have a stream, and they when I'm bridging them from St. Kitts, and I just talk some anime. Well, for the last, I don't know, 50 minutes, it's been like Boruto, Dragon Ball, but we're gonna be jumping onto some Tower of God discussion now because, everybody hates Rachel or hates Raquel, hashtag.
Well, honestly, like, I think I've been reading the manhwa since 2016, I think, or
Yeah.
2016, 2015, 2016. Like, I think it was just either just before season one finished or just before season two, or just after season two started.
Yeah.
And I legitimately the in binge read, sorry, the entire manhwa up to that point within I think 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point it was close to 100. Yeah, I think it was just after season 2 because it was around 100.
Well,
And
I was thinking of jumping on the manhwa, but well, the plan is to at least jump on it before season 2 anime starts, whenever it whenever it's going to happen, isn't it?
mhm. So, do you plan to read the manhwa from the beginning?
Yeah, because I mean, based on those videos you shared with me like a few weeks back in
Mhm.
terms of the dropped content,
Yes.
yeah, I definitely want to get a bit more context for what's
Mhm.
going on, isn't it?
I mean, like, largely cut content was additional exchanges between people,
Yeah.
and considering it was the prequel, not much of what was said had a overarching meaning to the plot on a whole. So
Yeah.
some of it was alright, but one thing that stood out to me when I was watching the anime was the very first floor
Yeah.
with the test administrator, because I knew that Rachel was there. I call her Rachel, but that's because that's when I was reading. That's the first pronunciation that came to mind. So
Hey, we were in the first few set of reviews. I was like, Rachel, Raquel, I don't know.
yeah. So I don't know whether Rachel or Raquel is right, but I like my foolish lizard brain says Rachel.
Yeah, yeah.
So I knew she was there in reading, and the way episode 1 ended with the test administrator more or less breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera, speaking. Like, I knew that it was Rachel he was speaking to, and he in the manhwa it seemed a bit more ominous,
Yeah.
because in in the anime it just seemed like in the anime it just kind of seemed like a break in the fourth wall for no reason.
Like, honestly, like, initially, I didn't really think much of it, but I mean, with episode 13,
Hmm.
I mean, that just really changed everything for me in my youth, honestly.
I regret not going back. I regret not double checking the manual today, but I know for sure. Well, no, let me not say that. I regret not going through the manual again today because I wanted to double check if the Rachel recap was part of the manual or if it was just um, expounded upon for anime context.
Hmm.
Because I personally don't remember her. Like, I remember her thinking back, but I don't remember it being that in depth,
Yeah.
especially to take up half the episode.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything like how I see, like, persons really, like, authors really approach like manga, it might not be the case, but then again, anything possible. Anything is possible. He might have really and truly went in depth in terms of recapping that in the manual as well. Maybe.
That's a good point. But um, okay, if we speaking on Tower God, are there any things that you want to know without me spoiling, without me spoiling too much?
Ooh, like I think, because I was kind of, I rewatched episode 13 today actually,
Mm,
and like I was thinking about it. It's, I think one of the major things I would want to know if they ever get to is exploring the outside world. I don't know if this is me thinking too much on it, but like with everything that was revealed episode 13, To me, it kind of seemed like the test administrators knew about Bam, or they were at least observing him to a degree before he came to the tower at all, or before they tried to invite him or Raquel, or both of them. So I'm wondering if
Hmm.
the outside world is touched on at any point.
Okay. Uh, you, I have an answer, but I want to say that I don't think there is an outside world per se.
Hmm.
It feels to me because I have more or less stopped reading the manual for now since about February,
Yeah.
and there was mentioned points. Well, as you understand, everybody comes from quote unquote outside the tower, but as you know, everybody outside the tower knows about the inner parts of the tower, and
Yeah.
you once you get accepted into the tower, you more or less restricted in there. So, as far as I am understanding, even let's say rankers,
Yeah.
rankers have to go through the process, get to the top of the tower, and then they are more or less distributed throughout the tower doing various things. And mind you, this tower is huge.
Well, yeah. I
Um,
mean, they kind of made it a point
like,
from episode 2, was it, when they had the whole test with Leroy Rowe, and he was pushing back
mhm,
everybody, when he was saying that there's
mhm,
basically entire civilizations on like every floor, and some persons literally stay on a floor their entire lives without going up to the next floor. So yeah.
yeah. So that's something you need to look forward to in season two, because one thing I did do, I checked how season two would begin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but you, if the anime continues the trend it had about adapting about four, five, six chapters into an episode, you would see Bam really early, but it kind of starts off with Yuri as a kind of episode chapter zero they had,
Yeah.
but double backing on the tower, you kind of lose in the grand scheme of things. You kind of lose what is inside and outside of the tower, because the way the world is built.
Mm-hmm.
You you see people all the time. You see entire civilizations, and sometimes you forget that these people exist inside the tower, because when you hear them speak, you hear them talk about going, wanted to be accepted to climb the tower.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives the impression that, yo, I am inside the tower, but I want to begin climbing the tower. So they kind of want the tower to pick them so they can begin their climbs.
Yeah, I get that.
So as it relates to Rachel or Raquel, it's kind of hard to tell if she was really outside the tower to begin with, or she was just on a floor that was already in the tower.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That is true. But I guess as we go along, everything, well, probably not everything, but a lot of things might tie back to the origins of BAM, more than likely, I would imagine.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah.
The origin of Bam has technically been revealed in the manual.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I'm trying really hard not to say anything that wasn't divulged in the first season.
Yeah.
But as you know, Bam is a irregular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So irregular. Well, I think based on that, I think there is technically an outside of the tower, but I don't think the people that we are familiar with.
Yeah.
are from the outside of the tower. I think, in essence, all the irregulars are from outside the tower.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's just that
Because,
depend. It's just how they describe the irregulars. It just seems to imply that there's something more outside the tower.
because King Jahad is the first person to climb the tower.
And
To
wasn't it implied
climb,
that he was from outside the tower as well?
yeah. And
Yeah.
he in essence is an irregular because because he forced his way into the tower. Being an irregular is the prerequisite of being an irregular is that you force your way into the tower.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd in Bam's case because in the case of Bam and Rachel, Rachel is technically the irregular because as you saw in episode 13, um, I don't remember his name, but the rabbit man, the first test administrator,
Oh yeah, head on.
he yes, head on. He told Rachel that she wasn't the one that the tower was looking for.
Yeah.
So technically, the tower was trying to grab Bam, but Rachel kind of was underneath him at the time, so it kind of picked her up by accident.
Well, well, yeah, yeah. I didn't really look at it that way. The way I was thinking about it was like some big, some big conspiracy, which could still apply, like building
Yeah.
off what you just said. Because the way I was looking at it based on episode 13, and this is what really hooked me going forward for season 2, because there's so many moving parts. Because I looked at it like this, right? Given my theory of them potentially observing Bam outside, I was playing on it like this, like, yo, maybe it's a case where we're not sure if we want Bam, but he seems to have something, but Bam doesn't really have a reason to come to the tower. So let's get Rachel in or Raquel in, and it did seem like that's the case because we had the blonde hair test administrator saying like, yo, we want to observe to see if he has what we desire, and then in basically word for word he says she is the beat. So we're using Raquel to get Bam to climb the tower so he can probably align himself with our wants and needs, but at the same time, if he's only climbing for Raquel, so yeah, we have to at least get Raquel in to climb the tower, because if no Raquel, no Bam. So yeah, I kind of found that interesting when I was kind of deducing it.
hmm Well, let me say, hmm, okay, on a bit of world building for the tower, the tower, the lore behind it is too. Okay, a lot of this was mentioned. The lore behind it is that King Jahad went explored the tower, was the first person to conquer the tower and claimed himself to be king. So then the mission of everybody else that is born on or begins the tower climb to get to the top of the tower and get a wish granted, because Jahad's wish was to become king. But it was mentioned, it wasn't really covered in context, but there were a group of people that also climbed the tower with Jahad.
Yeah.
If you, yeah.
Well, yeah, well,
So
those would have been the persons that formed the other, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, other royal families that make up the government, right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly that. So it was King Jahad and the 10 asterisk members of the I think his royal guard or something of the sort.
Yeah.
who then became the 10 great families. So, and the next thing they mentioned is that the tests that people take now to become rankers aren't the same tests that Jihad went through.
Interesting.
They're severely watered down versions because the people in the tower right now don't have the power that Jihad had.
Well, I would imagine so.
Be it Jihad and the ten elites, since they were all irregulars as coming from outside the tower. So to a large extent, Shinsui has no effect on them
Yeah.
in the same way it affects people that live in the tower. So the the floor administrators, as in the absolute, not administrator, yeah, the floor administrators, not to be confused with the test administrators like Hidon and the blonde-haired chocolate cafe latte loving fan. Yeah, those are the test administrators. But the floor administrators now are the ones that gave King Jahad, the original tests, which, from my understanding, uh, were all more or less life or death tests.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and they were all subjugated to various tests because originally Hidon was the first person they met when they came in.
Yeah.
And he was the one that told them of the challenge to climb the top of the tower. But he himself says that he does not stop people or prevent people from entering the tower. He just decides on what test to give them to discern whether or not they are worthy of climbing the tower. And then that is floor more or less zero. Floor one is the floor of tests. The floor of tests now is when they decide if you're irregular, more or less. They don't say it, but that's the reason for the floor being there. Because that is what is alluded to at various parts in the season. Because the objective of the flow of tests is to get rid of irregulars, which is why
it's not too surprising considering that they were saying that at one point throughout the season that the real purpose of the test isn't really to decide if, or at least this version of the test isn't to really decide if you can climb the tower, if you're worthy, but more so to find out
if
if
you
you're
will
a
do harm.
threat. Yeah, if you're a threat to the tower.
And in a non-spoilery way of saying it, that is, the floor of test was made by King Jahad, so that no one finds. Or the floor of test was made by King Jahad so that no irregulars get too high up on the tower to challenge him.
Makes sense. That kind of goes back to one thing I was thinking as well in terms of one of the moving parts to the end of the season where it kind of seemed like, and I think it's kind of expected, that there kind of seems like there's a I wouldn't say civil war, that's kind of too much of a stretch right now, but it kind of seems like there is some conflict between the administration and beyond what we see between like the blonde hair test administrator and like Lee and Ting, because like in rewatching episode 13, the same blonde hair test administrator was saying like, okay, cool, the princesses of Jihad, like things went to plan. The princesses of Jihad now think that Bam is dead, but of course he knows that he's still alive. So it kind of makes me wonder: is there like a faction with the blonde-haired test administrator, him, the red-haired navigator girl, and versus, say, for argument's sake, Jihad and the princesses, like two different factions. So different political conflicts probably are going on within the tower as well, outside of probably the more personal and emotional conflicts that we have going on between say Kun and Rachel and the rest of their group there.
Okay, well, you can't really have a show without having some sort of tension. So, and you can't have a monarchy without rebellion, without rebels.
True.
And that is exactly what happens to Bam. So Bam, the blonde-haired test administrator,
Yeah.
if memory serves, without spoiling too much, is part of that faction group. So if I am remembering correctly, he does not like how the tower is structured.
Yeah.
So even though he was working with that assassin that was sent by Jihad, he wasn't really going to interrupt him because he didn't care what happened to the princesses.
Yeah.
His objective, as you saw, was to get Bam out of the way with the help of the red-haired navigator. Which, by the way, in terms of roles for people on the tower, navigators are a weird subclass, I would like to say.
Yeah, because that wasn't really touched on in I don't remember them off the top of my head, but the 5 classes that were mentioned, what was episode 8, 7, give or take?
Give or take. The light bearer, the wave controller, spearman, fisherman, and scout. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we have we have Warmonger in the comments saying, talking about Bam too long now. Kun is the real star.
Honestly,
yo, Warmonger, yo, honestly, yeah, I would agree with you.
honestly, Kun is the real star of season 1, with the Rock as a close second.
Yes. Rock colors kills me, bro.
Yo, Rock, like, I don't even remember who Rock reminds me of, but there's some character, like especially when they bring out Chibi Rock. Like,
yo, that was ridiculous, bro.
Chibi Rock was the blessing of season 1.
Bro, like, yo, I wouldn't mind getting some more comedic moments with Chibi Rock. That would be
You
funny.
will. That is. So.
But definitely, like, Kun, definitely, like, in terms of like the best characters, I'd say for this season, definitely Kun. She isn't. Let me get this straight before nobody comes and tackle me. I will agree that Rachel or Raquel isn't a likable character, but I think she's a well-written character at the same time. Yes. So Kun, Rachel, Rak, and then I would say Bam. Everybody else, I feel like they have their quirks and their charms, but I'm still waiting on like season 2 and beyond to get more from them. I feel like beyond their charms and their quirks right now, there's not much I can say I'm invested in them like that. Beyond those 2 points, but those 4 characters easily the best, I'd say.
Yeah, like Kun, a manipulative bastard, and I enjoy his character.
I really do. And like, this is one thing I really like vibe with, or I really look out for, like, while watching any like anime or reading any series right now. Like, when I get into it, Like I need to ask if I could like ask the author like why should I be interested in the story you're trying to tell? Why should I care about X character versus that? And I feel like with characters like Bam and Kun, like from episode 1 and 2, and 3, I those answers are like kind of answered like I wouldn't say immediately, but relatively quickly. So I'm like I get invested in the series like really fast. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because as I was saying, like in like my early reviews, like the whole idea of just this guy running down this girl. I mean, on paper, at the surface level, it's yeah, it's whatever, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
like when you paint the picture and tell me that he has no memory of his past, he owes everything to Rachel at the same time, then I can say, all right, probably I still don't fully care, but I can understand why, and I'm interested in seeing where it's going. So I
Mm-hmm.
think from that perspective, I can say that, yeah, definitely, Bam, Bam is a good character for what the intentions were for this season.
Mm. And you need to remember that the manhwa isn't really written in like the traditional shonen sense that we used to for watching anime.
Yeah,
It is really, I think, an adventure fantasy, more or less.
yeah.
Somewhat all ages, somewhat all genders. Even though it kind of stray the all ages paths every so often.
Yeah, I mean, it
But
definitely doesn't really give me a shonen vibe at all, really.
mm,
Um,
it's honestly like slice of life with superpowers.
I guess you could say that. Kind of also gives me kind of more of a seinen kind of vibe as
Mm.
well, still. But I have like even before I started watching episode 1, I have seen persons like say, "Yo, this is like the One Piece of manhwa," and
I I wouldn't say it's a one piece of manual.
you know,
Not disrespecting it, neither Towaga nor One Piece,
yeah,
but the two of them have completely different vibes. It is the only thing that I might say is um, One Piece esque is Bam simping.
no, well, what I mean is like from the perspective of like I think persons were speaking more of like from like the scope of the world, really, like the
True,
world building.
the world not like the world building was amazingly done. I
Mm,
don't know how much in advance it was thought of before, like pen went to paper in creating the manual,
yeah,
but it seems like it was incredibly fleshed out before because some things happen spans down the line and in they all make sense in the world that was made.
yeah.
Like the one thing that I somewhat question is how the test administrator shrunk Rack to turn him into Chibi Rack. That I don't understand
I would
because it's
imagine still Shinsu same way.
yeah, but I don't know of Rack to be like some sort of Shinsu infused being so that like the test administrator like pull Shinsu out of him to shrink him. But I digress because
Yeah.
that was comedic gold. Chibirak is amazing. He's adorable,
Completely.
and he is a vicious powerhouse.
Yeah. Um, a bit more on Kun because I wanted to speak on Rachel or Raquel for a bit, but a bit more on Kun. Like, um, his family member showing up in episode what was it last week, episode 12,
Yeah,
and just the whole thing I was saying earlier in the series about the whole parallels between him and Bam. And I think it's even echoed louder with his last statement to Raquel at the end of episode 30 when he was saying like, yo, I wish I got to meet, Bam before you did.
hmm
Like I think this season just has Kun set up as like I'm trying to find a character in like a next series to compare him to. I'm trying to wonder who
Okay,
could I
let
really
me
say.
let me while you think, let me say that I not comparing Boom Kun to a character outside. but I
Mm-hmm.
want to compare him to a character inside.
All right.
Because the reason Kun took so kindly to Bam was because Kun saw a lot of himself in Bam, which is the a parallel that I wanted to touch on. Kun sees what he was up until his family, because the Kun family is one of the 10 elites.
Yeah.
So the Kun family
Mm.
has the opportunity to pick. Okay, it was touched on a bit in one of the early episodes, but the way the princesses of Jahad work is that one princess of Jahad is picked from each great family and given one of the 13-month series.
Yeah.
Mm. But the 13-month series technically comprised of a bunch of different weapons plus a weapon holder.
I would
So it's
imagine that's what Yuri gave to one of the other characters to give Bam when she was saying to let Bam meet me on the 70 something floor.
no, that is something I would want to touch on, but it's not that. It is Black March, the Green April. There's is just a bunch of colors throughout the rainbow. I think it's 12 weapons, and then number 13 is a special kind of weapon case.
Yeah, I was figuring that would be the case because it's like 13-month series, but there's only 12 months. So, like from
Hmm.
them mention it, man, I say yo, all right, the
Yeah.
13th weapon has to have something special about it. Then.
Hmm. But to this point, I don't think all 30. I know all 13 weapons haven't been shown, and most of I think most of the princesses of Jahad have been shown,
Yeah.
or a few of which actually have had combat scenes.
Mm.
Hmm. But Yui is actually like up there when it comes to combat, as
Well,
you saw.
I was, bro. Like I was certainly impressed with her performance. Honestly,
Mhm.
yo,
Like honestly, one of Yuri's two biggest drawbacks are that she is really easy to bore. So like once something doesn't interest her, she isn't going to put any motivation into it,
yeah.
and that she's a pervert.
Oh wow, should I say I didn't see that coming, or should I?
You should have seen it
I
coming.
mean,
Her
her
opening,
comments to Bam in the first floor, but
exactly.
I mean, it kind of more seemed more like she was saying that like on a whim. But yo,
No, like her first reason for going to the first floor was
yeah,
because they heard an irregular was there.
all
Her
right.
her reason for intervening was because she thought Bam was cute. Like,
uh,
and then the reason her and Black Match don't get along is because both of them are somewhat of perverts. So they're too similar to agree.
oh boy, serious. Yuri. But I'm kind of glad that she has that quirk to her. It I don't know. I've been, as you know, I've kind of gotten back into One Piece recently. So, like, having characters have like ridiculous personality quirks, from One Piece, I'm a sucker for that. So I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
glad for that. Is a bit. But the resident dirty girl no. Raquel, whatever it is.
Ah,
Yo,
boy.
man, tell you, brother, like, I, obviously, it's the as we were saying, the intention is for us as the audience to hate Rachel. Oh, but before we even really dive into it, has more of her backstory, like before she met Bam, been revealed?
Before she met Bam.
Yeah, is
Uh, honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember.
yeah,
I remember a few, like, I remember her and Bam meeting, like, after this. I think at some point she gets separated from Kun's group,
yeah.
and I think they they meet each other because, as you see, there's a time skip coming.
Yeah.
So so
Wait, how long
I
is that time skip though? 4 years? 5 years?
it's not much. It's really not much, and it the time in the tower works really oddly sometimes.
Hmm.
Like
So probably on one floor, like a day on this floor is like a year on this other floor.
mm,
That'd be
but
wild,
odd,
bro.
there isn't much. Well, you are free to move in between floors once you've passed the floor, if I am remembering correctly.
Yeah.
But there are special ways to get in between floors.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are special routes, which is why you have navigators, by the way. That's
Yeah.
their that's their role in the tower to get to help you get from one part of a floor to a next. But as it pertains to Rachel and Bam, or Rachel's backstory, I don't. Okay, I remember when Bam's backstory was revealed.
Yeah.
Rachel had a part in it, but I don't know. I don't recall how much involvement she had, and I don't remember how much it revealed about her.
Yeah. Alright, because I think I don't want to say they're setting her up to be a sympathetic character,
Mm,
but
they are definitely not. Well, or
no.
if they are, they aren't doing a very good job because, like,
Yo.
I hate Rachel. I love the character.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say too. Like, I love the character, but I hate her.
Yes, and that is the point. That is her entire point. Her entire purpose is to be a hated person but a loved character.
Oh boy. Because because of those two like opposite ends of the spectrum, she kind of falls into the line of like that she's kind of like a gray character. Like she's not black and white. She's gray, and I think that was really on display despite her craziness and everything. I think that was really on display for episode 13. I
Hmm.
mean, she said it earlier in the season that even though she was caring for Bam, I'm paraphrasing here, but she was saying basically like, yo, she got annoyed at some point, and yeah, she was annoyed at some point, so she wasn't like 100% into it, like caring for Bam,
Hmm.
which I think was all right because, all right, personally speaking, like on a real world level, like if you have a friend or a brethren, right, and he's like living with you for like a X amount of time, and you're bridging, like you consider this person like your brother, but at some point, like it kind of feels like a bother having him in your space, isn't it?
Hmm.
So like on a scale of like 1 to 100, like you're probably like 90% invested in having him stay as long as he wants, but 10% is like, yeah, I kind of want him to get his own space, kind of
Uh,
miss having, yeah. So I think it just represents that as a person or as people in general from a real world perspective, like, yeah, you do good as much as you can, but
Honestly, I think you are giving Rachel's
too much
character
credit.
too much credit.
Yeah.
Well, not even her character, their relationship too much credit.
Hmm.
Because honestly, to to Rachel, Bam was little more than a pet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she did mention that as well, for real.
Because Rachel more or less buck up on him. Like, I think she found like a crack in the ground and like dig through, and just boom, just a boy just there in raggedy clothes with long hair.
Yeah.
But but to Bam, no, Rachel was everything because he didn't have anything else.
Yeah. True.
So then he I he barely knew how to talk, and Rachel had to teach him how to describe the way he felt.
Yeah.
And his, if I paraphrasing, but his description of Rachel was the light in her darkness.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, because that's her literal role. Like she was the one that literally shone light into the into the literal dark cave he was in.
Well, true. True. That is very true.
But to Rachel, no, she visited him like I guess every day, help him to talk, teach him to talk, teach him to draw and write and what's not and forth which. But after a while, she's not a good pet owner. Like after a while, she was like, "Bye, I
Can't bother
don't."
with this now. Me
Yeah,
can't bother. Yeah, yeah, basically that.
and a bit of she conscience kick in because she was at one point or another just getting ready to just abandon him.
Tell her brother. And but I mean, it's very contradictory because yeah, she can't bother with him, and but at the same time, she can't fully go through with killing Bam on
Like,
multiple occasions, as we saw in episode 13.
well, I think her not being able to kill him stems from pity.
Hmm.
Like when they entered the tower, Rachel couldn't accept like the during the flashbacks we saw in episode 13, Rachel couldn't accept that Bam was doing things that she wasn't able to do. Because in her words, it is he's just Bam.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't expect anything out of him. But she saw him doing things and getting through. But deep down she had pity for him because again, he's kinda like a pet, kinda like a friend.
Yeah.
So she doesn't necessarily want him dead, but she kinda wants to get through the tower. And her only way of getting through the tower is to kill him. And it's not even like he could die from buck-ups. She has to do it herself. And she spends months, I think it is. I think the time they spent on the floor of test was months.
Hmm.
If at least 2 months, if I remember.
That
Once you add
sounds
up,
reasonable.
yeah, once you add up all the time, because after the Crown game, Bam was unconscious for I think 3 4 days. No, he was unconscious for like 2 weeks, maybe.
I would have to go back and check, but yeah, it was a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount of time though.
Maybe not 2 weeks. He was unconscious for a couple of days. Yeah, because he nearly missed the wave controller test, the wave controller assignments because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah. So then she spent a couple of weeks contemplating, couple of months contemplating, and the reason she couldn't do it was because it's a friend slash pet slash Bam. And then at some point, her greed just took over.
Yeah, because I mean, from from that first floor incident with head on, the jealousy was just kind of building and boiling and kind of just built up all the way through up until
Mm-hmm.
this last test really because I know at one point she was wondering if it's a case where they could climb the tower together,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of makes me wonder if she had made the decision to just say, "Yo, I'm climbing the tower with Bam." I'm wondering what the test administrators would have done.
They would have killed her or kick her out to the top. Well, I don't know which. I don't know if they could kick her out, so it's probably kill her.
Yeah.
But I don't even think she was thinking all of that because I don't. Even if she had the choice of climbing the tower with Bam, I don't think it would have lasted forever.
Yeah, because her jealousy is there, and the fact that she can't really do what Bam does. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's it's not black and white, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what I like about it. It's not a really a black and white situation. And then
But
given the fact that the tower itself, well, at least a factional person within the tower is just really taking advantage of her the weakness in her character, her moral character to
Hmm.
get Bam. Um I wouldn't call it tragic, but I guess for lack of a better term for now, I would call it that. That's really the tragic part of all of it. She is the
Hmm.
bait, as the bluntest administrator put it.
Like honestly, I think the as you saw the blonde test administrator and the navigator were kind of working together just to get Rachel in the situation to get rid of Bam.
Yeah,
Just
but
just to get Bam in the situation to so and this is before note that this is before they were even introduced to Rachel. Like the the thing about navigators is that navigators have almost a link, I would say, to the tower.
mm-hmm.
So you'll see, I think in season two, that the nav is more or less a tribe of navigators.
Yeah,
So in opposition to the navigator with Yuri, which is more or less a dwarf,
yeah,
I think there are navigators like him and navigators like the red-headed one. So
yeah.
they aren't is not necessarily different factions, but I think it's more or less of fraternity sorority kind of thing. If I'm remembering, I think it's like a race of red-headed girls and a race of gray-headed dwarf guys.
Oh wow, it's interesting.
So they they all have the different kind of roles throughout the tower, but the red-headed ones are almost clairvoyant.
Yeah,
So they have free access more or less throughout the tower. So she didn't really need to take the test, but she know that she needed to be there at the time. So
to
she more or less
actually see
so
what's
she
going
more or
on.
less
Yeah,
yeah, so she infiltrated more or less because you realize after the crown game was more or less her first introduction
yeah, yeah. It was.
because you never saw her before, even with all the stuff leading up to the crown game. You saw her team just for the introduction of to the ground game because you never saw them again after that.
Yeah, that's true.
If I remember correctly, either that or she was on team with some other people that end up getting through at some point. Don't remember. Her teammates really weren't that important.
Obviously, obviously not.
But so she she has been on a mission since she's been there, and none of the people that were on the floor test noticed that she just kind of popped up.
It's wild, bro. It's wild. I think with everything with Rachel, I think one thing I'm really digging, and I mean I could be wrong in terms of the setup, but it's really for me it kind of feels like it's setting things up for Bam to really take down the tower.
I mean, I think I think that that is I agree with you because currently I can't say currently to the last I have read
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't his explicit goal,
Yeah, yeah, that's the
but
thing.
it kind of seems like that is where the story leads.
Yeah, and I think that's what's. I think that's actually good. That the transition from the fact that he didn't really, that he could care less about the tower,
Hmm.
and transition to that, and like I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing it play out from the perspective of just if not the entire tower, but at least a faction of the tower taking advantage of the situation between him and Rachel, essentially.
Hmm. To be honest, I don't think it is as simple as a faction taking advantage of it. I think the altercation with Rachel is more or less fated by the tower
Hmm.
because, as you know, the tower kind of picks you when you're at your lowest. Like
Yeah.
when you have nothing else to lose, when nobody there to miss you and them kind of things. So at the time, I think that would it kind of the tower kind of picked Bam at the time because at the time Bam had nothing else to lose because Rachel was leaving to go into the tower. So
Yeah.
Bam himself had nothing to lose. Rachel, we understand has nothing to lose. So it was prime time for them to for them to get pulled into the tower.
True. I guess from a thematic standpoint, I mean, when you compare it to all the other characters and how they speak about,
Hmm.
they've lost something, and
Like
yeah,
I don't recall what Rock has lost if it has ever been mentioned. Kun lost. Kun was disowned from his family after his sister got picked to be a princess of Jahad.
yeah,
Uh, we remember Ho. Ho? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
yeah.
He he had his family massacred in front of him. Um, the girl that was on Ho's team was a dumpster rat, more or less.
Serena,
Like,
was it?
yeah, she was she was in the slums, had a makeshift family that got killed off in front of her. She also had nothing to lose. So the tower kind of picks you at that point. So I think the tower, I think this is somewhat speculation, somewhat inferred, but I think it's the tower crying out that the place need to fix up.
True.
Because let me say, I think this is part of season two technically,
Yeah.
or because I told you earlier, but season two is 300 and odd episode, 300 and odd chapters, as opposed to season one's
70 something.
78. So season two, I really don't know how they're going to work it. I don't know if they plan to give it the Attack on Titan treatment and have season two, part one, part two, and part three.
Jeez,
But
please.
I it's a spoiler. This is a spoiler slash teaser.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point in season two, Bam fights a clone, more or less, not clone, a snapshot, more or less, of Jahad
From the
so,
well, sometime in the
from
past, obviously.
yeah during his climb. So I don't recall the full story around it, but he I think Bam Kun Rak and a few others end up in a pocket dimension within the tower,
Yeah.
and they end up meeting. Um, I don't remember if he was Prince Jahad or if he was just Jahad, but they ended up meeting Jahad while he was climbing. So it's a snapshot of the past, but Bam ends up fighting him.
Yeah.
Fun battle. Bam loses terribly. Jahad
Oh wow.
Jahad is extremely overpowered. Like extremely overpowered.
Wild, brother.
Yeah. So I think that was a next turning point that kind of pushed Bam further into wanting to fix the wrongs of the tower.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's been experiencing it and seeing it himself, so
Mhm. But
can't blame him for that.
you mentioned earlier about Yuri giving. I'm terrible with these characters' names.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm telling you. Really need to explore them more, but
Mhm.
she gave one of the side casts.
Yeah, she gave him a kind of feather. It's a kind of feather,
Yeah,
and to told him to give Bam and tell him bring it to the 77th floor. Now, is slightly spoiler, slightly not. but
Mm-hmm.
it is to bring it to Urek.
That was the guy that built the 13-month series, right? Was that the
No,
case? No? Okay. Let's spell it.
Urek. Urek is currently the only other named irregular in the tower.
Mm.
So he, I'm not going to give any more, but well, not going to give any more spoilers. But he also fights Bam. Is that's not a spoiler because you that's kind of the point of him
Yeah.
going up there to meet him. But that is also a really interesting altercation. Like, I'm not going to say what happened,
Mm-hmm.
but that is also something to look forward to in season two.
Alright. It's going to be interesting.
Season two is going to be very interesting.
I
Like,
mean, with the amount of chapters, bro, like, it's crazy.
like the next thing, I think I may know how season two is going to be broken up because I think I remember distinct acts being in the series.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
one thing when I was kind of just browsing through before I got into episode one. Yeah, it seemed like there was like, especially when I was checking it out on like on the wiki, it seemed like there was
Hmm.
like a certain set of chapters were like designated as this particular arc, and I would
Hmm.
literally be like, let me just kind of browse through. I'd be checking through chapters, and I'm like, okay, where's Bam? I'm not seeing Bam. So
You honestly you might have seen him and just not recognize him
that's
because as you saw in the very end of chapter 13, he gets much longer here
yeah,
and a new alias, which I won't say on stream because there's technically four people here, myself included.
yep,
I don't know who in the chat watching the series and doesn't want it to be spoiled.
yeah. Well, yeah, true, true. Well,
Yeah.
all in due time, still, all
Hmm.
in due time. But
And
yeah,
like I think season two has a lot of new powers coming.
well, I mean, they gave like an overview of the Shinsu kinda in
Hmm.
terms of its potential, but they didn't really dive too much into the specifics. So, with 300 plus chapters, yeah, I'm expecting some wild stuff.
Because
Like, yeah,
honestly, you've only seen maybe three people. You've only seen two. We've only seen two wave controllers actually use their powers. We've only seen the lighthouse, the light bearers only use the powers to control the lighthouses.
there's that.
The most we've seen is the red-headed test administrator and Anak, who kind of use it somewhat combatively,
Yeah,
and they aren't necessarily Shinsui focused classes.
yeah, true.
But as you saw with the Anak fight scene, it can be used to really bolster someone's fighting potential.
Yes, I'm kind of really interested in seeing how creative persons actually be with Shinsu going into
Hmm.
these future fights. Ah, boy, potential, man.
Potential.
Looking forward to it. Oh, um, is there anything else we have left to discuss? I mean, we talked a bit about Rachel, Kun, future of the series. Is there anything else we're really missing?
Hmm. We could take a deep philosophical dive into the makeup of each character, but I think that's for another day.
Yeah.
Like,
So wild, brother. But yeah, that would be for another day. I've been streaming for 2 hours now.
mhm.
It's crazy. Um, There's only, well, apart from Tevin here, there's only three other persons. Anybody else have anything they'd want us to discuss before we probably wrap this up? Going once?
I mean, you have to give them a bit of time because there's a lot of delay in chat.
Well, yeah, true. And then they have to type it. Yeah. But yeah, bro, like, once things kind of smooth out for me in terms of moving and just kind of getting my headspace back together, I want to just dive into, the manual. That I'm still need for a Demon Slayer, considering it's done, so, yeah.
I personally, since I'm interested in watching Demon Slayer, I think I'm going to hold off on reading it for now.
Yeah.
I might read it after season 2 ends. Well, I think I'll reread Tower of God now that it's start airing and season 1 has passed. I think I might restart maybe from the beginning, maybe from season 2.
Yeah, because really and true, I don't expect a season 2 for at least probably for at least another year. To be honest.
Well, it is Netflix, so they might bring it out sooner.
No, you mean Crunchyroll, sorry.
Yeah, Crunchyroll and yeah, Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
But
so who
so,
knows?
but I want you to have some of the first coverage out on YouTube for when Carter High School comes out in a couple of days.
Brother, I'm tell you, I am going to like me not that we talk God, but they kinda just watch and then review, but I'm gonna do my live reaction. When was it? July 6th?
I think 6th.
6th? And that's a when?
Monday.
God damn it. This always a reach me now, like when we want like put out videos early, it's always like some work day foolishness, brother.
Like honestly, if it would have been really good if it came out on the 4th, which is this Saturday.
Dog, I'm telling you, that would have been great. Cause I wouldn't really have nothing to really worry about. Kind of live react from another day and get the video out early, brother. You see me? But that's how it go. So it go. But it's going to be another fun ride.
Like
Shadow.
when I heard that Webtoon was partnered with Crunchyroll, like I heard Tower of God and God at High School, and boy, right now there's one more manhwa that I'm interested. Well, I think that they're adapting Noble East also, which I was recommended numerous times and haven't properly read.
The only thing animation wise, so that out is more like a promotional video, isn't it, or something like that?
There was something some years ago I think was fan made, or a small adaptation that a studio was trying to do that only did like one episode, something of the sort. But I want them to adapt Hardcore Leveling Warrior. But
I'll solo living, or is it the same thing? Hardcore leveling, solo leveling,
no,
same thing?
so different things.
Different. Oh.
Solo leveling is also really interesting.
Yeah, because I see a lot of other YouTubers covering solo leveling, isn't me?
But look forward to God High School. That going to be God High School. I think is the most shonen on the list. Yes, most shonen-esque on the list right now, which is a good combination of DBZ Naruto.
Yeah.
To some extent, Shaman King.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I'll save that for the comments of your episode 1 review.
Yeah, bro, definitely. Shaman King. Shadow.
Yeah, I'm going. You need to download a Game Boy Advance emulator.
Yeah.
And go through. I'll send you the names of the games, but you need to go through them. They were,
Alright, sounds
that
like
was
a plan. Could
that
do
was
some
my
let's
childhood.
plays.
Even still, that was my childhood at some point.
I don't remember which one, but I remember playing a Shaman King game at one point. But it was just one like I did tell you earlier, but I don't remember which one.
Mm.
What was
Figure it
VB?
out. You'll figure it out because there weren't really that many Shaman King games.
Well, true.
Really underappreciated series.
Tell her, brother. Well, I'm just like, uh, it's really funny because, like, the occasional going back and watching like certain openings on YouTube. The Four Kids opening still
Hmm.
pretty legendary to me.
Four
But
Kids had some of the best openings.
yeah, but censorship otherwise in story was
Mm.
yeah. But anyway, it's just like the comments and people would say like, "Yo, would be good if we get a new anime." Cause yo, like before I even like checked out like research on like on the manga to see if it ended the same way. Like them beating Ho or Zeke as they call him in the Four Kids dub. In retrospect, it just never made much sense, really.
Hmm. It felt odd.
Felt too power friendshipy.
Hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, bro.
But yeah, so after, like, this is me speculating far into the future,
Mm-hmm.
but after um they do the Shaman King remake, once
Mm-hmm.
everything's settled down, me personally, I want them to remake um Kakete or Hitman Reborn.
Yo, like I never did get into that. What was it? Sid that tried to get me into it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, and
Because I think Sid watched it, and I think Demario and I watched it, like, all 213 episodes. It's either 213 or 214. But I remember the last episode that aired before it got cancelled
yeah.
had the episode preview for the next episode
Yo,
ready.
that would have grieved, would have upset me with that, brother.
Hurt my heart, hurt my soul, hurt my wallet because I spent time and data looking, see if I could find the next episode.
But I don't remember the episode count you guys were saying in terms of the first few arcs being really slow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world building was kind of slow at the beginning. It had the same kind of Boruto kind of feel.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to compare it to as well. Because
Like, I don't know if they started it before the manga caught a lot of wind,
yeah.
but it did feel like, it's not even like it was paced poor. It was a, it's not even like it was paced poorly. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like they just didn't have a lot of material. Like, it felt like they were trying to adapt like two chapters into an episode.
I mean, really and truly, 2 chapters per episode.
Not when the chapter's not long.
Well, okay, point taken. But Mental, let me tell you how I've found the perfect pacing for like weekly anime when you're taking it from a manga. Because I remember like when we did still up on campus and I believe Shippuden came out of filler. Or it was like a flashback arc. Where basically when the Ten Tails was just revived. So it's about episode 360 something.
Hmm.
And I remember at that point I went to the manga just to compare to say, alright, let's see how much chapters this episode took up. And that particular episode and episode after and episode after, each of them are like 3 chapters basically into the one episode. And I'm just like, alright, cool. So like
Hmm.
3 chapters for like
Of
a
a
week.
certain length.
Yeah, of a certain like say call it say like 17 pages. That's pretty damn good pacing for one episode. 2 chapters, it can go on, but anything less than that, you're falling into One Piece pacing territory right now. No, no, bro, and a joke like people
Isn't
have
is that
literally,
a joke? But it's real funny.
yo, People have literally dropped the One Piece anime because of the PC, including myself, brother.
including myself.
Like it's no joke, bro. Because alright, right now, let me tell you, One Piece anime wise, let me tell you when I saw the pacing starting to go to shit, brother. When we hit, about episode 200 and something, and like at the time, I didn't really, make note of it or pay attention to it. But the fact that the openings, your usual 1 minute and 30-second openings,
Mm-hmm.
changed to 2 minutes and 30-second openings, and then you have the usual intro
Mm-hmm.
after that about pirate era, Goldie Roger, whatever, and then recap, and like,
Wait, to be fair, a lot of
mhm.
the Naruto Shippuden had a lot of recap in the beginning to pad time.
Well, the problem with Shippuden, I don't really have much of a piercing problem with Shippuden.
No, that's what I'm saying. A part of the reason you didn't have a pacing problem is because of the
A bunch of fillers,
flashback
yeah,
padding.
and it's like the million and one fillers.
The
So,
million and one times you hear Naruto say believe it.
yo, so it's kind of comes down to like when you're adapting manga, realize that it's either you're gonna have a million and one fillers, you're gonna have horrible piercing, or you're gonna make it seasonal. Or
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to like make it a weekly series and it has amazing pacing and everything from start to finish, the anime adaptation would have to have started like way like close to when the manga is ending. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way, really, because bro, it's like 200 odd episodes into One Piece. It's not bad, but as you keep going like an extra 100 episodes, slowly but surely, like less and less is happening per episode. And I remember like a few years back, I checked it out, and like you literally have One Piece episodes that are adapting like a chapter, or sometimes even less than a chapter per episode, because the anime is so close to the manga right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous, dog. Like if you like go on YouTube and try to check out like skits of a person just making fun of the One Piece pacing, you'll see it. And I know like Oda has tried including more content in each chapter, but even then, bro, it's horrible. It's
Mm-hmm.
horrible, horrible. So I think it'd be interesting, like how we had Dragon Ball Kai. If we had like a, I guess like a better term, a Naruto Kai and a One Piece Kai, and a, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, later on that'd be interesting.
I guess it would be Dragon Ball Kai One Piece Fruit. Um, what would be for Naruto Kunai?
All right, I can support that title. Yo, but it's serious, bro. Honestly, like I literally stopped reading or watching One Piece for 3 years, bro. It's only like last month I catch up. Mr. said the manga almost reached chapter 1000. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start review it on the channel. I'm gonna catch up
Mm.
before I hit this one. And I started reading my One Piece, dog, and dog, like I'm reminded. I know that One Piece isn't for everybody, and that everybody will like it, but objectively speaking, dog, compared to Bleach and Naruto, One Piece is number one out of the three, bro. Honestly,
And you are welcome to your opinion.
fair enough. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. That, but
Granted, I
it,
think
yeah,
my issue with One Piece is that I watched it originally when it was airing on Toonami.
and
Loved it.
yeah,
I something happened with Toonami, if I'm remembering correctly. So it stopped airing for a while. Maybe
yeah,
Toonami maybe got
because
shipped back or something.
yeah,
But
I think that's because initially Toonami would have been using they would have been using the Four Kids dub, but Four Kids as
yeah,
a company went down, so that's probably it.
yeah. So then after that, I tried on occasion, but
Mm-hmm.
I was blocked by there are X amount of episodes of One Piece currently out,
Yeah.
and that X looked like a math problem.
Hey, honestly, I can't blame you, brother, because
Mhm.
alright, like right now for me, apart from I'm up to date with the manga and I cover it weekly here on the channel now. But in terms of like getting back into One Piece and reminding myself of what made it so amazing for me, like I've been watching, the YouTuber Totally Not Mark, right? Or no?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's never watched One Piece before. He's never read it, anything outside of probably seeing like, pictures or whatever. And he started reading the manga, and as of what, Thursday gone, he is basically at chapter probably 200 and something, if not 300 and
Hmm.
something. And trust me that he's been absolutely loving it. But the funny thing is, like in his part 1 review, he was saying he did a poll of, why persons didn't get into One Piece, and a lot of persons voted, yeah, it's because of the length, you see me?
Mhm.
But I guess because of the quarantine, I see a lot of persons reacting and getting into One Piece now. I guess because of the
Yeah,
quarantine.
like One Piece. I I regret not remembering the name of the the Greek myth, but is is the myth about the guy being cursed to roll a stone up a hill,
Yeah.
and every time he reached near the top of the hill, the stone rolled back down. Like that's kind of how it feels. That's how I feel with One
Real.
Piece because
Yeah.
I have tried, I have started,
Mm-hmm.
I got a good chunk in, fall off, and then I reached to the point where like, yo, I don't remember what went on. I got stats over. I can't do this.
Ah, boy, it's
What
wild, brother.
what I need is for somebody to summarize One Piece, like summarize it arc by arc in like a 1 hour and a half video.
Yeah.
Boom! I catch back up to One Piece over the weekend.
Well, you got two options for that, if not three, maybe. I mean, the way that Totally Not Mark reviews it, he reviews it using the manga, and his videos on it are like usually like either about 28 to 30 something minutes, and he usually covers multiple arcs in each review. So
Mm,
like in his first video he covered from chapters 1 to 68, and that would have been episodes 1 to about 30 something in the anime.
mm,
And he kind of keeps that pace, if not more. So he releases videos every Thursday. The option two would be, but that I still recommend Totally That Mark, because well, I think it's more fun for me because I'm up to date One Piece. It's kind of fun seeing other persons enjoy it. But the option two is that since One Piece is so long, and I feel this is the case, Toei has done a lot of abridged versions of certain arcs with updated animation. So they'll
mm.
literally take for example, the two arcs, Walter 7 and Ennis Lobby, when Luffy was fighting that whole Rob Lucci, the cheetah guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they'll literally take those stretch.
Still personally my favorite fight in One Piece. Granted, I
Yeah, a lot
haven't
of
seen that many.
persons. No, personally speaking, I think One Piece has good fights, but I would give the fights in Bleach and Naruto over it.
Hmm.
But,
Like I think I convinced both of my brothers to watch Tower God just to
yeah,
piggyback off of, and one of them told me recently that part of the reason he isn't feeling like he when I started reading the manhwa
yeah,
at some point after I recommended it to them, and he told me he fell off reading the manhwa, sorry,
yeah.
because he wants special moves. Like he gets the thrill of reading a manual and somebody calls out some special move. It could be anything. Like even as simple as Saitama, when he just has variations of a punch,
Even that.
a lackadaisical, half-hearted punch. Like as long as the move has a name, is really interesting to him.
He
And
wants
I
a bit
feel
more flair with it.
yes, and I feel like that is part of the reason that is part of One Piece's charm.
Yeah, alright, I would agree, but let me tell you, like with each series, there's always a bit of the lure, right? Where you're like, oh shit, this guy knew this guy, or this guy did this in the past, and yet the other. But I think it's extra for One Piece because during my catch up from my 3 year hiatus of One Piece, and I don't know if there's anybody else here that reads One Piece, but chapter 957, when we had the former fleet admiral just speaking about Goldie Roger and his, this mission he went on essentially with Luffy's grandfather, and the bounty reveals of like the top pirates, including Gold Roger within the story. And trust me, like my experience reading that chapter, like the former fleet admiral just talking was like god tier content to me, dog. just god tier. And I think it just reaffirmed the notion that even though I can definitely say I prefer the fights in Naruto and Bleach over One Piece, like I think it reaffirms the idea that One Piece doesn't have to have good looking fights. Not that it doesn't, but it doesn't have to have the best looking fights for it to be like ridiculously epic. It's the world building, dog, and
Hmm.
everything that's going into the certain fights. So, like for example, I don't know if you know the two admirals that have like the ice and lava powers.
Yes.
Yeah,
And they had a massive fight on an island,
yeah. So like even
shell
stuff
down
like
everything.
that. Yeah, even though we haven't even seen that fight, the fact that we hear so that go on, like it's
You hear say two people out on an abandoned island just fighting lava against ice for days.
tell a brother like that gets you, well, as One Piece fans, it gets you really excited, dog. Stuff like that is, I mean,
Mhm. I understand. But yeah,
re-
we're getting close to 2.5 hours.
yeah. All right, probably shall wrap up your nose still.
So,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
yeah.
the stream has been interesting. I learned a good
Yeah.
amount about Boruto. I slightly vexed that we never get to cover Super as much.
Yeah, what I'm gonna try though is that I'm gonna try like it's only recent I start kind of start stream like that, but what
Hmm.
I'm gonna try have at least one like a end of month stream like this is, I mean, or at
Hmm.
least who knows, probably
I
as we
mean,
go along with this side, but at least an end of month stream should be a must for me going forward now.
okay. Well, the end, we know what we're talking about next month.
What did you have in mind, super?
I mean, Carter High School. Like that
Well,
is that.
definitely.
But then I think no, Attack on Titan is in fall.
Last season, yeah.
Yeah, there is something. Oh, you did you watch Doctor Stone?
I actually did not get into Doctor Stone. Out of the like, I only got into Fire Force and
Hmm.
Rising of the Shield Hero. Out of that
Okay,
stretch anime of the anime season.
okay. Well, if you find interest in it, because I think season 2 should be coming out next month, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly. So that I am going to wholeheartedly watch.
All right, that's good. Um, I guess there was one other thing I haven't watched yet. Some copies are out online, but as over the last 4 years, I've been watching a lot of like anime films, especially like specifically like Makoto Shinkai films, like Your Name and 5 centimeters per second, and
Hmm.
yeah, and Garner Words and
Also, you want to feel something. You want to feel
dog. The
alive.
feels are real.
Like,
Yo,
I
serious,
understand.
bro.
Like, I need to get them downloaded and rewatched just
Yeah,
for the
bro.
tears.
I think recently I had watched the title always throws me off, but I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Yeah, I know it sounds wild, but it's another really good one. I think I don't know what's that silent voice. Like I've become like real decent fans of like these type of anime movies, dog. Like
Hmm.
if nothing else, if there was nothing else, they are really pretty to look. They're good to look at. They look
Yes, the
aesthetically
anime,
pleasing.
the art style and the animation are just crisp.
Like gorgeous, bro. Like, mm, trust me. But so you haven't watched Your Name yet?
No.
All right, I would definitely recommend. Well, I recommend all of them, but Your Name.
So, like, you are the first person. You're not going to be the last. And it is not. It is not that I don't want to watch them.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch them, but there's a certain mindset you need to get into because I need to mentally prepare to cry for them.
No worry, I understand, bro. Probably not from the same perspective, but I remember. I think the first one out of the batch I watched was 5 centimeters per second, and crazy enough, I heard about the movie like over 10 years ago, or
Hmm.
about that. And when I had a whole laptop, and I had like an article on Anime News Network favorited, and I said, "Yo, I'm going to watch this someday." And years passed by before I watched the movie, bro. And it was like what 2015, 2016 before I watched it. So
Hmm.
yes, I understand. But I think once it starts, like right now, Shinkai's new movie Weathering with You, I think copies are out online, but I'm just waiting for some decent subs.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely waiting
Like,
on that.
okay.
Yeah, but
Well,
yeah, bro. Yo, major respect for
mm,
joining for the stream. Man, I hope
well, my
say
pleasure.
next month you wouldn't mind see if we can invite somebody else. If not one of the other niggas, probably
Hey,
another
hey, hey,
YouTuber.
hey,
Eh?
hey. We are respectable young men of the society.
Alright, fair enough, fair enough, that's true. One of the other sophisticated gentlemen of the table of the Knights of the Round Table. Okay, I'm just sounding
Uh,
stupid though.
we haven't decided on the shape for the table,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Shadow.
Um, yeah. Next month and the next month, the last 2 Fridays, I should be off. So
Uh,
even better for me. I'll
Alright,
have
so last two first until the 24th and
23rd.
21st.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any of them?
it should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that will be good then, bro. May see if I guess as the weeks go by, me can decide who else might I invite for this stream, is man.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, bro, yo. Respect. And
So,
yo, everybody else who was who has tuned in, respect for tuning in same way.
peace and tranquility to all of you.
Alright, people. Stay safe. See you in the next one. Alright, bro. So the stream has